GSL with Wolf and QXC.
Here we are casting Code A round 32. Yes.
Yes.
And what is our next match?
I don't know, man. I think there's this awesome guy playing. He's kind of big and tall. He's on the team FXO. You may know him as Chef.
Wait, no, that's next.
Oh, that's actually not what. That's not the second set.
later.
I'm actually completely wrong. That's later. I'm so embarrassed.
We're in the game lobby here, and you can see like vanvanth versus soccer.
Like,
and he's
wait, let me look at that a little bit closer. Yeah, it doesn't say Chef. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to get you guys excited.
Yeah, Chef versus San Zenith after this.
Okay. Actually, an interesting note about all of our matches today, there's at least one Protoss in every single one.
Yep.
So we are going to have vanvanth, otherwise known as Bonbons, playing against Soccer, who's on the team We Made Fox. A lot of people haven't really seen this guy yet, but I'm kind of curious to see how he's going to do in this PvP. PvP is a matchup that was almost figured out, and then Blizzard changed everything, and now everything's different.
Oh, with the Warp Gate.
Yeah, the Warp Gate changed, the Archon changed, everything. So
that is vanvanth.
He has a great usage of gateway units and tries to win. Is that like a good thing? Is that a good trade or a bad trade?
That almost sounds like in subtitles here. I expect to see like always goes DTs or like doesn't make nothing. Whoa, that sentence only makes Colossus.
Tries to win easily,
like
man.
4 gates every game.
2-gate proxy is not out of the question for this guy. He actually kind of looks like Mr. Che, I think. When I look at him, he looks like a young Mr. Che.
Maybe. I don't remember what Mr. Che is.
Someone out there sees
The last time I saw Mr. Che was when I was rollerblading and we got lost.
Yes.
And we saw you guys at the bar randomly.
Yeah, that was quite random.
That was very random. And here we have soccer.
Good crisis management, so has limited builds.
So we might see some weird positions here, maybe some base trades, and maybe the same build every game. Is that what limited builds means?
Well, I think maybe what the tooltips, they're getting more and more interesting, QXC, because first they were just talking about who they were. Like the one tip we got yesterday was, he's on OGS. It's like, yes, that's true. But now it's like he has limited builds. Maybe one's a pro and one's a con. Good crisis management, but has limited builds.
Oh, so that would also have to do with like tries to win easily.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a con.
I mean, maybe.
That's really interesting that they would say that, though. I don't know.
I wonder if the players ever know. Like, did it say something like that for me?
No. But I wonder what it's gonna say for Chef.
Is American? All right, cool.
That's true. So, soccer is also what we call it in the United States when you play football. For those of you guys who don't live in the United States and don't know what soccer is,
true.
It's called football elsewhere.
Here we get the map list: Crevasse, Terminus, and Dual Site. Dual Site being basically a GSO only map. It's actually being added to MLG for Anaheim though.
It's good. I like everything about Dual Site except the Zelnaga Watchtowers look like warp gates. I think that's silly. But otherwise, I like it.
What'd be really cool is if you build some actual warp gates next to those. Try and confuse your opponent.
Yeah, it's like, how did you resize that gateway? It's like, why is that one blue?
Just pick it against someone who's never played it before and like proxy gateways in the middle of the map, and they're like, wait, what?
How did he get warp gate research so fast?
Did he have 3 proxy gates? One is warped, and I don't. They're like, their mind is blown. Like back home, the probes have all stopped mining. They're like, you're so bad. Like they're trying to advise him and stuff.
Well, the first map is going to be Crevasse, which is actually a really interesting map for PvP because in Crevasse normally.
The sign says this commentary is trivial, in case you were wondering. And that
well,
was
we should start adding some more trivia to our commentary.
But that's not the sense of... Oh, and the game is starting. 7, 6... Yeah. But that's not the sense of that the trivial means.
I know.
It's like something that's easy.
I know, but we should just...
Oh, you're just saying we need trivia.
We should just make it hilarious.
Want some trivia.
And there goes FXO. You see them back
there's
there.
There's all of FXO. They're all just walking behind us.
They're behind us, man.
And here is the game. So I'm going to wait, because we have to do
yeah, wait until you see the little intro. It says GSL and all that stuff.
And then we do. And
I'm
then
like
we
teaching
talk.
you here on air. It's not even weird for you though. You're not even embarrassed.
Why would I be embarrassed? Why would I know this?
QXC, a man of no fears.
Except
he
losing.
jumps over cars.
He
gets a little nervous about losing. That's true.
I really don't like losing.
All right, we're jumping into it.
And in the top right-hand corner, the red Protoss. He's just put down a pylon. His name is vanvanth.
You did it again, QXC. You're not supposed to say the name.
God, I'm so sorry. I'm so used to saying people's names.
So, Bamba.
I'll get it next time. Take this one, Wolf.
All right, over here at the top left. Oh, not yet. We got to watch the little wood intro with the
I'm
splash.
even throwing your timings off.
I know, man. I'll get used to it. Don't worry. All right, over here at the top left, a member of the team We Made Fox, also the name of a sport.
And soccer.
It's just so funny. Like,
It's like they give you like 20 seconds and then they give you like 3. Like, and this guy's name is also known as, he's blue. And then the next one it's like, and he's known as blue.
QXC very critical of how we do things here at the GSL.
I'm just noticing. It's all fine. Everything's great. And here we see a little probe bump. vanvanth going to scout the early.
Or not.
Is that
because
actually
he walled it off.
Walled off.
That's actually so genius.
That's really interesting. But vanvanth, who is the earlier? One of them has an early gateway, so I think that's actually vanvanth has the very early gateway and getting the very early cybernetic score. And so what do you think?
This is a Nexus. He's making a Nexus. This is ridiculous, actually, QXC. He's going to take the backdoor expansion. You can't actually normally do this in PvP. Okay, so what I was going to say before the game started, this countdown started, I wanted to mention that in this matchup, or on this map rather, normally in most other matchups you see very quick Nexus because you can. On this map though, it's a very wide ramp, and it's PvP. If your opponent 4-gates you and you're not prepared for that, you just die. And if your opponent tries to make sentries, all you have to do is break down the rocks and you have a huge ramp. It's really easy to 4-gate. But he is going to make a forge and have to make cannons. Sometimes you can get away with this. And in fact, I've seen games in the TSL where players, I think it might have been Naniwa who did this. Some process in PvP were able to somehow take that backdoor expansion, but I don't know. This is going to be pretty tough.
So does this... Basically, the way I'm seeing this game play out is soccer fast expands. He's going to have to throw down a bunch of cannons, and he's also going to basically use all of his chrono boosts on cybernetics and just start throwing down gateways and getting as many as he can.
Yeah. And what's interesting about this as well is that if vanvanth tries to attack this, he's going to get a little bit behind. He's going to go 4-gate instead of making a Nexus. Now, the interesting thing is he can try to force a lot of cannons, and then once all the cannons are made, he can just make a Nexus, and then he's got his own expansion, but he hasn't invested in all of that defense. So it's going to be...
Wait. Did they see it on this one? There we do see it. He is proxying a robotics facility, so I'm thinking we're going to see a warp prism.
We most likely will. Or at the very least an observer. You can try to warp in onto the high ground and warp into the backdoor expansion that way. So, you know, either an observer or a warp prism. Warp prism has dual functionality, obviously. You can, you know, use it to transport units up. You can warp in units there as well as grant vision. And I think he's starting to kind of realize what's going on. He sees a lot of warp-ins there at the top. He saw the forge, so he knows, you know, he knows the wall. He basically knows all you have to do is get units into the inside of your base, and then what are you going to do? Hide behind your cannons?
Yeah. And I actually think this is going to be a very fast game here. I don't see how Soccer is going to be able to hold off a warp prism and 4-gate inside his main.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I know, getting a little too close to those cannons.
Takes a little bit too much damage, more than he would like, for sure. Does Soccer have cannons anywhere else?
Nope, he doesn't. He only has them at the front, and that warp prism that you were talking about is being made, and he's gonna ferry those units up onto the high ground. And once he's inside, he can just do whatever he wants, just avoid the cannons, and that's exactly what he's gonna do. There goes the warp prism up there. His opponent doesn't really have any time to react to this.
Huge.
This is warping units.
Yeah, and this is going to be really hard for Soccer to defend. I'm a little confused right now because this seems like the most logical counter to the strategy that Soccer is doing.
Sometimes you see players try to do forge expands on Shakura's plateau in this matchup as well, and I do the exact same thing. You just get a warp prism, or you even get an observer and just warp units into the back of your opponent's base, and then you just get so ahead. And even with that warp prism there, it's going to allow him to pick up weak stalkers as well if he wants to.
Could he get the warp prism, that would actually be pretty important. And he does not get the warp prism. The Nexus is going to go down, and all of a sudden, those 6 cannons at his front look a little silly.
They do look a little bit silly. And again, though, vanvanth is not making a Nexus back at home. He's just simply going to try to end the game with this attack. He has to avoid those cannons, so that's going to make it very awkward for him to engage here. But most likely he's just going to attack the probes instead, avoiding the Stalkers and chase the Stalkers back to the cannons, rinse and repeat. And I don't see a way for Soccer to really hold on here.
Yeah, this is looking really bad for Soccer, and I've gotta wonder, like, what were people doing to Soccer when he was practicing this build at home?
Well, you got to remember that Soccer's on the team We Made Fox and just doesn't have a lot of practice partners to work with. So most likely he's just tried this, against other teams' practice partners. Maybe he hasn't even tried it that much at all. But that's it.
That's
GG.
GG. That's it. And sometimes that happens if you don't have a lot of dedicated practice partners who really analyze your build and figure out the weaknesses. He could have done that 20 times on ladder, and maybe it worked. Well, no, ladder doesn't have crevasse.
That's true. Yeah, I was going to say that same thing, and then I realized the exact same thing. Oh, there is no crevasse on ladder. vanvanth, I looked at him just there after the game ended at his booth, and he looked extremely nervous, almost as if he was like, if I didn't realize what was going on fast enough, that could have gone really badly for me, but I immediately just made the robotics like right there and went for it. For example, if his opponent had positioned, if he had like 3 Stalkers, he had 2 right when the Warp Prism came in. If he had 3, or if he had Stalkers to block the Warp Prism from going up, things could have gotten really bad. And you might say, well, he could have just used an Observer to warp in. Well, the cannon was close enough to where if you try to use an Observer to get vision there, the vision would have been granted of the Observer. The cannon wouldn't have hit it, but they wouldn't be able to take out the Observer. So it was a build that could have worked if he had just executed just a little bit better, or, for example, if vanvanth had just been a little bit more sloppy with his attack, if he had waited a little bit longer, or if he had not made his robotics inside his base. Another option would have been to just scare him a little bit, make him make all those cans, and then take your own Nexus. But again, kind of a trade-off there.
And I don't know, it's interesting to see how that kind of played out. Like, maybe Soccer should have hidden the Forge, because to me, that seemed like the biggest tell.
Yeah.
Like, you could wall in your base.
And then destroy the rocks later to come out.
And go DTs, or you could have done anything. He could have 4-gated him back, the Warp Prism could have rolled up into his main, and then, like, it just dies because he 4-gated as well. But once you see the Forge, you see the cannons, you kind of, like, yeah, Nexus, sure, expand, I can kill that with 4-gate.
Yeah, he's not going to see the Forge and go like, oh, I think he's cannon rushing me. So yeah, I think the Forge, like you said, is a pretty big tell. He could have made it a different... I mean, he didn't even make it part of his wall. He just made it like right at the front of his wall. He could have just put it at the back of that same pylon. So we're in the game now.
Here we go.
We'll be jumping into it in just a second. The map is Terminus, another very large map, but very, still very 4-gate oriented sometimes because, or rather, this one's actually not. Hold on, we'll get into the game.
Here we go.